Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about watch collecting and horology. Um, Hopefully, you can hear me well. Sometimes I have problems with the sound, but otherwise, it's time to talk about watches. Hey, how's it going, L Train? Nice to see you. Um, Oh, wristwatch check. I'm wearing my Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris. Very nice piece. And one of the things I don't like about the uh, YouTube interface is I was running a little late and I jumped on, and I must be sure. I'm not even sure if I mean, it might be using the microphone in the laptop, but you know what? If you can hear me, we're fine. Let's keep going. Like I said, wristwatch check, wearing my JLC. I'm wearing it on a NATO strap, and a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but I encounter a healthy number of people who don't like seeing expensive watches. Hey, TH, um, I've met a healthy number of people who don't like seeing expensive watches on NATO straps. I had a friend who said, because I had recently my I recently purchased an Air King. As many of you know, I sold my date just in a bitter rage at how I'm never gonna buy another Rolex. And I walked past the new Air King, the 126-900, in a window for only 9,000 euros. And I sold the date just for more than that, so I had that money, and there it is. Now, if you notice, I have it on a NATO. I have it on a black NATO with green piping, and the Air King does have green text. So I thought it worked very well. And I had a friend, he said if it were a $600 silicon strap, he'd be happy. And I'm thinking to myself, is it really that much about the money? You know, when you think about watches and why you collect watches, and we've had this discussion before. I've had whole episodes where we've talked about uh, why you collect watches. Are you collecting it for the investment? Are you collecting it for the bling you want to flex and show? Are you collecting because of the horology and the interesting aspects of the watch? Are you collecting because you just like interesting mechanical devices? But the comments you get from people when you put a $7,000 watch on a $20 strap, you really see how people view watches in the vernacular, as it were. Let's see, Hannes. Hey, Hannes, how you doing, my friend? Next time I see you at Scotch, I'll buy you beer. Good evening. You're wearing your San Martin Submariner. See, now, and it ties directly into tonight's theme. And I'll get back to you, Hannes. And I'm hoping you're going to kick in some commentary as well during the conversation. I don't consider myself a teacher as much as a moderator in a conversation of watches, but I do expect this classmate to speak of his personal experiences with a very good homage Submariner. Uh, our time, how's it going? Glad I own the Air King now, but an older model. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I said, and the funny thing is, for all of my love hate with Rolex, I was on the waiting list for this Air King, um, because I had the Explorer 2, and the Explorer 2, in my mind, is the last true tool watch Rolex makes. And in my mind, the Air King is the last true um, sports watch Rolex makes, because the Daytona is supposed to be a sports watch, but I would call it a sports luxury watch. I mean, well, this is a sports luxury watch as well, and I recognize what Adrian says about luxury versus premium and the like, but Rolex is a luxury brand, so even though this is their sports watch, I mean, we're still talking about 9,000 euros worth of horology on the hoof, right? So that's why some people, do find it weird to have, a watch of this caliber on a NATO, but I think it emphasizes the watch and it makes it more about the watch and less about the jewelry aspect of the watch. Like, I often wear my Cartier Santos on a NATO. It's on a NATO right now. This is the Santos XL Chrono, right? It's always hard to detect when I'm going to get a good focus on this, and sometimes I see the episodes later and I cringe. Um, but then again, that's a good argument to take the time, which is a tremendous amount of time and effort, though, to go in, download these episodes, insert images, and then re-upload. I may do that when I retire because it is a lot of work. But one thing I am going to do, I'm going to turn all of these live streams into podcasts because the live streams are best suited to audio podcasts. Because since I don't have the visual aids that I have in the pre-recorded episodes, um, the episodes are more, of course, verbal. Uh, Beer check. I'm drinking Czechoslovakian Budvar, which is why American Budweiser cannot be sold in the EU currently under the name Budweiser. I believe in Britain they sell it as a B beer, or they call it Bud in some places, but they can't use Budweiser because the Czechs were the first and the original. But then again, I'm not going to hold it against Augustus Bush when he founded the company because he didn't think about internationality and branding at the time, and so he just named it after the first pills. I shouldn't say the first. Pilsner Urquell is the first pills, but it's also a Czech pills. Budweiser is a Czech pills, so one of the first pills that were made. But then again, you're all watch connoisseurs, so you must also be fantastic connoisseurs of wine, fine dining, and other wonderful things. Hannes, Bond wore his sub on a NATO. SEALs wore their Tudors and Rolex in Vietnam on NATOs. It's more about functionality rather than jewelry aspect. Exactly, Hannes. And the interesting thing is, he put it on a leather strap in the same movie for the casino. I mean, not for the casino, but the nightclub scene. That same Submariner that he had on a NATO earlier in the day, he put on a leather strap to go in his suit uh, out at night. So um, he's the epitome of my argument that you should have a lot of straps to go with your watches. I'm going to do a fun with straps episode. Oh, actually, on this one, essentially showing it on a couple of leather straps and on the NATO because it has very nice and tidy lugs, but the nice and tidy lugs mean that nothing, no metal strap without physical modification will fit this watch. The only way you can put leather straps and NATO straps on it is with curved pin bars, spring bars, because it literally hugs and it even then you have to play with it to get it the NATO strap between the spring bar and the case. It's that tight up against the case, and only the metal bracelet from JLC will fit. And I finally decided to go ahead and buy the metal bracelet because I got this at a reasonable price. It came on the brown leather factory, and I hate brown leather. I can tolerate dark brown leather, but I don't like light brown leather on my watches, and that's okay. Everyone has their own taste. Um, but I've realized that I have to get the stupid leather strap from JLC bracelet from JLC for 1,500 euros. And that's the point where sometimes, being, the aspects of being a watch collector really hit you. And you're like, I'm literally going to pay more for a bracelet than some people pay for an entire watch. then some people pay for a car just so this will finally look proper. I mean, it looks really good on the leather strap that I finally found for it. I got a very nice, blue, medium blue, not too light, not too dark, but on the lighter side, alligator padded strap. It looks gorgeous on it, but I don't have a metal bracelet for it. I don't, and because nothing fits except the factory. So I'm gonna get the factory, and then I'll do a fun with straps episode and show it under the various configurations. But the Polaris is a great piece. It really is. And I know everybody thinks of the Reverso when they think of JLC, but the Polaris family, because it's a huge family, it includes the various newer versions of their alarm complication and some beautiful chrono complications and even a world timer complication. So you can get a Memovox Polaris, you can get a like I said, chrono, and the Polaris chrono is thinner than the Rolex Daytona. The Polaris chrono is thinner than the Rolex Daytona. A lot of people don't know that. But then again, JLC was the watchmaker to the watchmakers. Let's see, what are we looking at here? TH Bond is a watch guy. Exactly. Antares. Hey, Antares, how you doing? Just bought an Omega Seamaster 225580 from 2007. Getting it next week. Nice. Excited. Exactly. I knew what you meant. But yeah, that's the thing about watch collecting is you really have to feel it. Because like I said, there are people who collect for the financial reasons, and it to me, no, it's not enough. That's why I like wearing these watches on NATO straps, because then it makes it about the watch. The strap doesn't tell time anyway, you know? But let's go back to the theme, the topic, the case in point, and that's homage watches are better than fake watches. And some would say, well, the homage doesn't look like the real thing. It just looks kind of like the real thing, and the fake looks like the real thing. But let's get past let's jump past the argument that the fake is a lie and it's a piece of garbage and it shouldn't even exist. Let's just talk about it from a straight up and down business, marketing, finance, consumer, seller, marketplace viewpoint. I have a fake watch, right? Let's say that this spool of wire is a fake watch. I'm not going to hold up a watch because I don't want to smear any watch company, even peripherally, with the accusation that they are a fake watch manufacturer. But let's say this is a fake watch. Now, this fake watch looks like the watch that you want. It might even have the weight, maybe. I still find fake Rolexes light. And the bezel action is crap, and the crown feels like it has sand in it. I've yet to find a fake that has a good crown action, unscrew, screw, um, seat it back, and all of that other. Haven't found one yet. Super clone friend of mine brought a $600 super clone trying to impress me, and I turned the crown, and I'm like, my Tissot has a better crown than this. The super clones focus on all the stuff that people look at to catch a fake. Look at the reality, fit and finish, you know? You slam the door on a Mercedes, it sounds like a bank vault door closing. Um, f a fake can't even get to that level of fit and finish because, I mean, they're manufacturing a lie. So by definition, they're cheating you. So if they're already cheating you in their mind, they're gonna cheat you, and they're only gonna do exactly what they need to do to sell that watch to you. Because once you sell, what are you gonna do? Come back for warranty? But if you had a Steinhardt Submariner, for example, if you had a Steinhardt Submariner and there was a problem with it within the warranty period, you could take it to Steinhardt and they would repair it. All right. And if it was out of the warranty period, you could take it to Steinhardt and they would at least repair it and put real parts in it. And then you'd have a watch that you could use again instead of a piece of crap that the moment it breaks, you got to throw it away for $600. Where's the logic in that? Whereas an homage watch looks like the watch that you want to buy, but the manufacturer's name is still on it. So, like I said, from a marketing point of view, let's beyond the issues of copyright, beyond the issues of it's a fake and the lie and all of that other, just straight up and down manufacturing logic. If that company's name is on the homage, you have someone to yell at if there's a problem. You can go to Steinhardt. You could go to San Martin, whatever. You could go to San Martin, right? You could go to, you know, Mito. This Mito, I wouldn't say it's an homage to a Speedmaster Chrono, but it looks a lot like a Speedmaster Chrono. I mean, sorry, Seamaster Chrono. My apologies. It looks a lot like a Seamaster Chrono, the blue uh, ceramic current Seamaster Chrono. This looks a lot like it. This isn't an homage though, because it is hard to make a blue chronograph diver that doesn't have a rotating bezel, pushers, blue face, and ceramic bezel. So you're going to kind of look like all the other watches in the space. But then again, that's why some companies go out of their way to not look like the other companies. Like this is a Rado Captain Cook chrono. They go out of their way to make it not look like anything by Rolex. They go out of their way. I mean, the bezel is got a negative slant to it, right? It's got screw down pushers, but it doesn't even evoke anything about Rolex products. Fume dial. It has its own design language, its own style, and this is actually a retro design from the 70s. You know? So you don't have to get a clone or an homage. You can just buy a really good watch in that price category that looks good to you. I mean, by the way, this is for sale. Anybody who's interested in it, let me know. I mean, let's look at the most successful, popular, famous homage of in horological history, the moon swatch, right? It's an homage. It's not a fake Speedmaster. It's a chunk of plastic. It is obviously a chunk of plastic. It is an obvious cheap chunk of plastic, 250 euros, and it's overpriced. But it's an homage. And it's a legitimate homage, so it has the Speedmaster name attached to it. When people complain about it, I say it's like the 914 Volkswagen Porsche. Or if you wanted to be a little bit more forgiving, it's like the 924 Audi Porsche, which started as a Volkswagen Porsche, but wound up with an Audi engine in it when it hit the streets. But I mean, for example, this is a Sin Compass. Is it a sub homage? No, it has a dial layout like it, but there's no way on God's green earth that that case can be mistaken for a sub. But back to the original argument, that homage, since it has the name of the manufacturer on it, the manufacturer has to stand behind it. Whereas in the case of that fake or that clone, the manufacturer's name is not on it, so they do not need to stand behind it. And any product that has a chain of ownership back to the manufacturer with the liability for service and warranty, by definition, it's going to be a better product because the person knows they have to fix it if it breaks. Okay? What are your thoughts? Antare says instead of a 300 euro fake, get a Tissot Citizen Exact. Exactly. You don't even have to get an homage. Right. Get a watch that its own watch in its own right. I mean, think about something like this, right? The Nomos. This is the Nomos Pneumatic, right? The new one, the 42. It's not anyone's watch. It's its own watch. It's so German. It screams, "I am a German watch. I only tell the time. I am very well made. But if you want fancy, go somewhere else." You know? And this is a 3,000 euro watch. Instead of spending 9 or 10 on something that, well, griping that you can't get that 9 or 10, buy a good 1 or 2, buy a good 2 or 3,000 euro watch. Get something that, I mean, this Mito Chrono, it's got a Value 7753 in it, screw down pusher, ceramic bezel. It's a 2,000 euro watch, you know? Frankly, that's one of the reasons I bought it, because I have 3 Omegas and I thought, "Yeah, I'm not gonna buy a Seamaster Chrono for 7,000 euros," especially considering the fact that I actually still have a Seamaster in my, GMT, right? So, by having the Mito, I get to add another nice blue diver without stepping on the toes of my Omega. But then again, we all collect watches for different reasons, and in my case, I the value is secondary to me. I mean, it's easy to say that when you have the watches, but frankly, that's why I wear them on NATO straps a lot, because it's hot and I don't wanna sweat. My comfort, and it does look cool on the NATO, supersedes my desire to flex with a fancy metal bracelet that may make me sweat in a hot summer day while I'm trying to relax and drink my beer in the beer garden. You know, your mileage may vary. Obviously, everyone has their own opinion and their own experience and their own connection to watch collecting, and how they deal with the marketplace, how they deal with the watches, how they deal with the people. We're all different. And I recognize that. I'm just a collector saying my ideas and hoping we have a nice conversation. I'm not an adjudicator or arbiter of anything. See, TH, I was considering oh, Proxima Scuba Master, Seiko Marine Master 300 Homage, but I'd rather have a Seiko. Well, then I would say, and then the thing is, the Seikos aren't prohibitive. They're expensive, but they're not prohibitively expensive. You could save up for that, in a reasonable amount of time. And that's what I would suggest to people who uh, are frustrated because they can't buy the watch they want. But it's not like, m- unless you're talking about something like a Daytona. I mean, obviously, I don't know how much money you all make, but if you're in the watch business and you're buying $1,000 watches, $500 watches, you could save a couple of years and have the 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 5 years to have the 3 to 5, but where the watches you have, and save up and research in that price point to make sure you get the watch that you want. But don't buy a watch on credit. But, saving up for a watch allows you to research and make sure you're buying the one you want, you know? But, you're still better off buying the real deal, obviously, than a fake. But an homage is better than a fake because, like I said, the maker of the homage still stands behind the homage. Their name is on it. Saint Martin's, Steinhardt, or some of the others. Those are the ones that pop right into my head at this moment. But I mean, like this, the reason I was thinking of the reason Steinhardt pops into my head so easily is because I thought about buying a couple of their pieces because they do make nice watches at reasonable price points that look like really nice pieces. Um, but I got lucky and signed a couple of new contracts and was able to get a little bit of extra cash and get the real deal. But like I said, your mileage may vary. Not every one of us is, an old man. I'll be 62 this year. My daughters are adults. My girlfriend has her own apartment and car and job, so I don't have a lot of expenses outside of the overhead on this little apartment. So I spend the extra. I don't even own a car, so I spend my money on watches. But everyone has their own experience. But always try to satisfy yourself first. Actually, you shouldn't always try it. You should satisfy yourself first. And the thing about a fake watch is at the end of the day, you're really lying to yourself. And do you really want to lie to yourself? Uh, Hannes, as I own the San Martin since 3 weeks and wearing it since then, I have literally no regret in buying it. It's running within cost since then, and the quality is superb. Exactly. But then again, I mean, they're one of the acknowledged good homage makers. They get a lot of business from the fact that people know they make a good homage. Their name is on it. Again, the homage is going to be better because they know that people know what they do. So Saint Martin is getting extra business. People are buying their watches because they know they can get a good homage, something that looks like a sub, is almost as good as far as fit and finish, is as good as far as ruggedness, you know? The homage is a far better choice. That fake may not even be waterproof, you know? But, I recognize that people want that nice watch. But then again, why is that watch nice? That watch is nice because of the materials. Maybe it's made out of gold and it's got diamonds, or maybe it's because it's well made, handcrafted, or at least well finished, or maybe both exotic materials and hand craftspersonship. But that fake, they're pretending. It's camouflage. It's like having an inflatable tank on the battlefield. Yeah, it looks like a tank, but it ain't a tank. And that's the same with a fake watch. Doesn't have warranty. I mean, I've heard that there were super clones that are cost. I mean, if you a lot of the super clones use actually halfway decent movements. But if you're going to spend $600 on a watch that's going through all kinds of genuflections just to be functional enough to be a decent copy, spend that 600 on a real watch. One that has a name on it that you can go to and yell at somebody if there's a problem. The power to yell at someone if there's a problem is a big thing. The strap turned my wrist green. It stopped working 2 days after I bought it. You buy a fake, you're on your own. Even the best fakes. What? You gonna send it in for, service? A friend of mine told me that his was, parts compatible with Rolex, except the bezel feels like crap and the crown feels like there's sand in it. You're gonna send that to Rolex, they're gonna send it back laughing at you. Rolex isn't Panerai. Panerai had a lot of problem with that. People sending fakes in, and some of them would actually get serviced. But Panerai was doing things like using modified Values and, Unitas movements, whereas Rolex, their movements are all in-house, highly engineered, specifically highly engineered to be rugged, to be long-lasting, to be easily serviced. Parachrome hairspring, can't fake that. Free sprung balance. I've seen fakes where they put a little applique to make it look like it's the control head for the free sprung balance, and then you still see the two ordinary control arms sticking out underneath, by just taking a slightly closer look. Who are they fooling there with that crap? And then, like I said, what happens if it's not waterproof? What happens if it doesn't work very well? What happens if it drifts out of spec and all of a sudden the amplitude's 110? Who are you gonna complain to? Who are you gonna go to? Who are you gonna get serviced by? Any reputable watchmaker will recognize it's a fake and laugh in your face. And there goes $600 down the toilet. Whereas for $600, you could buy 3 of these and have a lot of fun with them. And they won't break on you. I mean, Adrian had a button pop off of his mission to Jupiter, but um, I had a button pop off of my Tissot PRX. Sometimes shit happens. I said a bad word. Sorry about that, but I only said one, so hopefully YouTube won't punish me too badly. But yeah, an homage Yeah, at the end of the day, the bottom line is an homage still has the name of the manufacturer on it, so there's a chain of responsibility, someone you can go to if you have a problem. A fake has nothing like that. What are your thoughts? Hannes says, "I'd rather see somebody with a homage than a fake Rolex because those people wearing homage don't lie to themselves or others." Exactly. And I'm thinking, it is a fake. They know it's a fake. And it's not nice because it's a fake. It's nice because it's a fake of something that spent time, trouble, effort, energy, years, sweat, reputation to build that brand that these people are stealing. Stealing. It's theft and lies. I can't rail on enough about how bad fake watches are. But sadly, there were a lot of people who disagree with me, you know. But it is theft. Someone else took the time to develop a brand, to create a reputation, to develop a design language, to create a reputation for quality, to create a reputation for value, to spend money in the marketplace to advertise. And then someone just steps in, puts their name on a product, and steals all of that work for nothing. For nothing. And people who buy fake watches support that theft. And then what happens if they are if they're successful enough at stealing, they devalue the image, and then the reason to make the fake has disappeared because then the brand is worthless because it's been crapped on so much. Look how hard a time Panerais had to come back. All right? And they only got bitten slightly by that. But the moment a brand gets devalued by fakes, you know? Yeah, you're lying to everyone, but you're lying at first to yourself. And it's theft. Someone else blood, sweat, and tears to create that brand, and the fake is stealing all of that work, all that effort, all that energy. An homage looks like the watch of desire, but at least they have the balls to put their name on it and say, "We made this. If there's a problem with it, you bring it to us and we will take care of it." Our name is on it. Our reputation is behind it. The reputation of the company we're trying to steal the reputation from, we're not trying to steal from their reputation. We have a reputation and it's on the face of the watch. An homage is not trying to steal the reputation of the watch that it is looking like. The fake is. The homage is not a theft. It's an homage. The name of the person who made it is still on it. They're the ones who have to fix it if there's a problem. They're the ones responsible if it doesn't work as promised. That fake, you're standing there with a piece of crap in your hand that you can't go to anybody for. Not worth the money. Not worth it. Imagine you're in front of somebody you want to really impress. Let's say you're going to a job interview and you wear your fake Rolex thinking they're not going to know. And the guy knows, and then you don't get the job because the person doesn't appreciate your character because you're going to walk into his presence wearing something like that on your wrist. I mean, if you disagree, I'd love to hear it, really. But empty, 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 empty. That's what a clone is. That's what a copy is. I told my friend it's a copy. He goes, "No, it's a super clone." Still a fake. Super clone. I paid a lot for it. It costs money. Buy something like a Tissot that at least is its own watch. Buy a Laco. They make great watches and they aren't even expensive. And they have heritage, they have quality, they're mechanical. They impress people who actually know what they're looking at. They impress people that don't know what they're looking at because they're nice looking pieces. Don't buy a fake, please. TH, San Martin's Tudor Black Bay homages look really, really good. The YouTube watch reviewers are giving them high marks. Exactly. And the thing is, they can be rated because they're made by a manufacturer. They can refer to it, "I made this." They're not fakes. They're not saying that they're black bays. They look like black bays, so you're not lying to anyone with these watches. They look like a popular watch, and people recognize they look like a popular watch, but they are a second party. And then that second party has to build a reputation for making good homage watches, as they have. And they're making good money on it. Because think about it, a fake manufacturer can't put up a big sign over their building, "We're making watches, come by." It's always gonna be a dirty business, sleazy business, dirty business. You want a fake watch, sleazy, dirty. Homages aren't like that. They're their own piece. So, Carter, that's why I don't like Louis Vuitton bags, too many fakes out there. Well, see, and that's the problem. Once there are too many fakes in the industry, it damages the brand. Fakes, it's like a parasite killing the host. The reason that you're doing it, you're killing it. But then that's the nature of all parasites, isn't it? Hannes, would love to hear what Rolex and other brands think about homage watches. I bet you they think better of them than they think of fakes. Fakes deteriorate the value of a brand. Homages increase the value of a brand because they demonstrate that people consider it nice enough to copy, but not make a fake of. They put their own name on it. So they're recognizing the style, the design, imitation, not copy. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So here we go. TH. Invicta got crushed by Rolex for Invicta creating the Pro Diver, but other watch companies are doing the exact same thing since then, and Rolex ignoring them, or so it seems. I think in Invicta's case, it had more to do with the way they were presenting the watch and advertising the watch. I think they were kind of stepping on Rolex's marketing language, and Rolex is like, homage is cool, but keep your distance. And so they made an example of Invicta to make sure everybody kept a respectable distance. And you can make an homage, but don't copy Rolex marketing language. Don't look too much like and make sure your product name is very prominent on the product. Your name, not their name. Oh, their name. But that's my 2 cents on it. I might be completely wrong, but that's what I think was the case, is that Invicta was pushing a little too far into the Me Too category, you know? Kelvin, hey, oh my goodness, Kelvin, long time no see. Kelvin was in an old engineering, journalism program I had started with Hearst almost, oh my god, almost 20 years ago. We're both getting old, young man. Kelvin, nice to see you. Can you recommend an homage for everyday use for a busty parent with toddlers? I would say, get well, it depends on what their taste is, right? Because you don't have to go homage. If they want something simple, rugged, and easy to read, Longines makes a lot of reasonably priced watches that are very rugged and good looking. So does Mito. So does Oris. You know what? Let's have a conversation offsite. Email me at smartalix, ALIX, at yahoo.com. And let's interrogate the person on their tastes and desires, and we will find the right watch for them. I love that kind of stuff, frankly. I love being the watch whisperer and helping people find the right watch for them, you know? Uh, San Martin all day long for homage. Like I said, Steinhardt's not bad either. Steinhardt's not bad either. What am I looking down at? What am I looking for here? Again, don't no, I was looking for this because again, don't forget there are a lot of really nice watches out there that don't look like anything but themselves. You know, Rattle Captain Cook family is a perfect example of a recently released watch family that are a bunch of beautiful divers that aren't trying to be anybody else. But then again, you could say the same, as I said, for Oris, for Tissot, the Sea Star, Mito, the Ocean Star. There are some really good watches out there that aren't trying to be anything but themselves. You know, like I said, like this Mito Ocean Star Chrono. This is about a $2,000 watch. And you'd have tons and tons and tons of fun with this piece. It's beautiful. It's rugged. It's waterproof, ceramic bezel. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't have, I mean, homages are better than fakes, but watches that are their own pieces are better than homages, unless you really, really, really want that watch, and then, why not get the homage? But then I would also encourage you, like I said, to open your eyes to other opportunities out there, and even, like I said, some funky stuff like, the Sin, Compass, watches that have a unique identity, you know? Watches that have a unique identity like the Sin Compass. This is a 2,000-year-old watch used. You can have a lot of fun with pieces that are their own pieces, you know? That's all I wanna say. That's all I wanna say. So we're about 3 quarters into the hour, unless we have anything else to talk about, and, I mean, obviously, now's the time to bring up anything, but if we don't have anything else to talk about, I think I'm gonna call it an evening. It's been a wonderful chat, but, I will give everybody a moment if they did wanna have any last comments, but if not, we're gonna carry it to next week, and I think we will talk a little bit about, watches and straps and stuff, but I gotta think about a way to put it to a nice topic, or maybe we push it down the street. But if you have any ideas for something we can talk about next week, let me know, but I'll think about it and we'll find something good to chat about. Have a great week, everybody. I love you all and talk to you next Sunday. Don't forget to subscribe.